We got geography now. We got Limberwisk. I know absolutely nothing about Limberwisk. I don't even know where it is on the map. So yeah, let's jump straight into this one and check it out, man.
I just said welcome to Geography Now in this country's native language.
Wait, what?
It's time to learn geography now.
Hey everyone, I'm your host Barbs. Welcome to Limberwisk. We are back in the Arctic Circle, and this time things are going to get a little quiet. Or should I say, hushed. We'll discuss more on that later. But first, let's see where it lies, shall we?
Where is it?
So, shameless self-promotion time. If you've watched any of the Geography Go episodes, you'll know that I've been to the Arctic.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's going to be like some island. In Antarctica, or near it.
Recently, Alaska hosting a geography. We were on the news.
They made a really good submission video. It was really
Oh,
good.
damn.
They really sold this school, and it's in Alaska. Come on, you can't say no to Alaska.
But I have to say, hands down, Limberwisk is the
Cool
one
flag.
place that puts the icebergs on the map. First of all, the country is located just past the Arctic Circle in the Norwegian.
Oh my God, it's tiny.
Finland and Norway. The country is divided into 5 provinces, 3 on the largest and most inhabited.
It's actually so
island,
small.
Hush, whereas the remaining 2 are on the islands of Lef and Fu. The capital and largest city
Fu and
is
Lef.
otherwise transliterated to Alkali Cloud.
How many
located
people
on
live
Alp Bay
here?
On the eastern Uyarak Peninsula. After Alkali Cloud, the largest towns are Aput and Inek, whereas the largest and only international airport, Alkali Cloud Manek, lies. The country holds sovereignty over 100 smaller islands and islets in the Hush Archipelago.
Oh my God.
However, only about 20 are permanently inhabited. For the longest time, Limberwisk had a dispute with Norway over the ownership of Jan Mayen, which lies on the same Atlantic fault line rift as they do. The dormant volcanic Berenberg summit, known locally as is seen as a sacred site for the inhabitants. The conflict resulted in the Limber Wars, which lasted a full 3 days. And it wasn't even hostile. It was more like, hey, Norway,
Heavy war.
yeah? Can we just have the summit of Berenberg, please? No. Fine, we'll just illegally sail over there, invade, and camp on the summit until you say yes. Look, guys, we get it, okay? We don't want you to freeze to death. Let's make a deal. And that's how the summit caldera of Berenberg Peak became an overseas exclave of Limberwisk. Getting around Limberwisk might be a bit of a challenge due to the rocky mountainous terrain. Only one main highway connects the east to the northwest, whereas the entire western coast is uninhabited due to the terrain and perpetually frozen fjords. Otherwise, most inhabitants might traverse towns through boat or seaplane. Some of the top notable sites of the country might include Auskir ski slopes,
that'd be sick.
the Insuk Polar Bridge, the monument of Malik Burelo, the Nanook Stadium, the Yarki University Library, and the frozen Gulba Plantation of Southwest Fu Island. And let me tell you, that
actually looks
last one, the
good.
Gulba plantations are like the life source of this place. Let's discuss more about that in...
I want to know how many people live here. It's so small.
Like living in the Arctic would be a frozen nightmare. It's cold, hostile, and desolate.
Right.
When you zoom in, our planet always seems to have the most interesting tricks up its sleeves in the most remote areas. First of all, much like their neighbors Iceland and Jan Mayen, Limberwisk is a geothermal island that lies on the same convergence zone between the North American and Eurasian plates. The tallest peak is the extinct volcano Mount or Mount Kokok, which nearby the largest lake, Lake or Imek, lies, which drains into...
Bro, how does he know, like, how to do the native language? The like
the
what?
River, the Frisk or Frist River, which eventually empties into the Eastern Bay. The country, much like Iceland, utilizes a network of energy resources powered by various geothermal hotspots found throughout the country. Sustaining such a large population in this area, though, however, requires a lot of improvised survival techniques. For one, food. Like other Arctic regions, the country is limited in flora. Only minor grasses, shrubs, and lichens and coastal seaweed that grow along the rocky beaches are found there. Therefore, getting proper nutrition is crucial. As a fairly developed nation, of course, people have access to imported groceries. However, these can be kind of expensive. To make up for it, most people have at least one family member or friend that hunts for fish, seal, or muskox. Unlike their Inuit cousins, however, the people here never really were too keen on eating whale, which is like a good source for minerals and vitamins like vitamin C. Instead, they had a secret treasure already hidden in the snow. The famous gulba fruit. This strange alien-like fruit with a citrusy melon-looking rind is actually a large vineberry related to the passion fruit, being one of the only naturally occurring foods with a blue color. The strangest thing, though, is that the fruit is adapted to only grow in the snow during wintertime, as any Any temperature below 3 degrees Celsius triggers the growth hormone in the vine stems to pump out the bulbous delights, known for their tangy yet sweet gelatinous blue cores with tiny seeds that also provide omega-3 fatty acids. The top culinary chefs in the world, like Gordon Ramsay, have been known to express favor towards the highly sought-after fruit. It can be used as a key ingredient in various haute cuisine dishes. Usually it sells for incredibly high prices on the export sector, making an impressive 11% of the nation's GDP alone. Other national dishes include seaweed sausage, smoked muskox steak, roast puffin with fermented Lingen wine sauce, and roasted sheep cheese. The national animal is the orca, which traditionally
What the fuck is sheep
was
cheese?
used in their traditional costume, the or quit, in which the
Oh my
skin
God,
was
that's
tanned and
sick.
shrunk into a surprisingly warm, elasticy garment that fits snugly on the skin. They would then top it all off with fur pelts on their torsos and waist.
Wait,
The
what?
national animal is the orca, which
Wait, are you guys even seeing the picture? Oh my God, no, I'm covering the pictures. My bad.
traditionally was used in their traditional costume, the
Wait,
quit,
wait,
in
wait.
which roast puffin with fermented Lingen wine sauce and roasted sheep cheese. The national animal is the orca, which traditionally
Right.
was used in their traditional costume, the or quit, in which the skin was tanned and shrunk into a surprisingly warm, elasticy garment that fits snugly on the skin.
Wait, that's not actually the actual orca's skin, right? Or is
They would
it?
then top it all off with fur pelts on their torsos and waist. Today, however, most people, of course, dress in a typical Western attire on a daily basis as the country moves forward into the 20th century with a unique coalescence between Inuit and Nordic undertones. Which brings us to... Alright, so a person from Limberwisk is actually surprisingly not called a Limberwisker, but rather a hush.
Hush.
First of all, the population of the country is about 900,000, making Limberwisk the most popular place in
really
Arctic
small.
regions. The country is mostly made up of two main groups.
Wait, it's the most popular region in the Arctic?
Hush at around 48%, and the at about 40%. About 10% are mostly Europeans of
Is that how they actually speak on a day-to-day? So, like, for example, like, they'll be like... what? I want to hear, like, two hush people speaking.
descent, like Norwegians and Danes, whereas the remaining 2% are made up of Botswanans and Tongans. They use the Limberwisk krone as their
Oh,
currency.
they're
They use
actually
the Type
pretty
Q
cool.
plug outlet, and they technically drive on the right side of the road, but only through January through July. August to December, they switch it up and drive on the left side. It has something to do with permafrost. I don't know. The Kalsh, or the Kalsh, are kind of like the
that's...
equivalent to
Yo, good job I don't live in Limberwisk, man. I actually would crash all the time. I'd just forget.
mestizos in the Americas, people who are mixed between indigenous and Europeans. Therefore, the Kalsh are the descendants of native or the Kal people, mixed in with Nordic Vikings that settled in the area in the 1100s. Now, let's talk about two things, language and culture. Limberwisk is the only country in the world to have an official language that does not contain any real vowels. The entire language, known as Hush, is composed of wispy, aspirated consonants and whistle noises that are joined in a series of unique patterns to articulate words. It's even written in a unique script containing 26 wisp
the
letters
fuck?
and 5 quick stop letters. For example, my actual name, Paul, gets translated to saying hello, my name is Paul would be strange, right? According to oral tradition, the Hush
What? Wait, and that's how everyone talks in Limberwisk? What? Yo, that's
language was actually
crazy.
built as an underground secret code that the native Kal people could use
Like, it's cool, but like...
and subjugated against the Nordic Viking colonists.
How do you shout? How would you shout? Like, if you need to, like, shout... Like, how would you shout?
Create a language that would camouflage itself in the deafening blizzard winds of the Arctic, yet still have distinct sounds that could be heard and deciphered if a speaker was listening, which is why all the words, more or less, imitate the sounds of wind. Over time, peace was made between the two, and the Nordic colonists even picked it up and standardized the new language. In the 1800s, they started teaching it in schools, and even to this day, with subjects taught in Hush from elementary, as schools integrate English around 5th grade. The nation is known for celebrating
Okay.
the unique Aurora Festival, held around mid-January, in which people scream at each other on icebergs while pushing each other in the frozen water, all at night while the first major aurora appears. The last one standing on the iceberg without being dunked is crowned Aurora King or Queen. On Left Island,
Yo, that sounds, what, dangerous? And sounds fun as
people
fuck.
also take pride in displaying which house has the longest icicles. Usually these are broken off and used as javelins in the icicle javelin competition in February. Some
Cool.
notable Hush people throughout history might include Malik Burelo, DJ Auskir, Insuk, Bjarki, Andrea, Carlo and Ya, Masana, Mark, David, And finally, Frederick and Christian Elster from the band Nanook have dual citizenship, so they kind of count. Now, with such a fascinating history in society, it kind of makes you wonder, how did such a nation
really
develop in
cool.
such a hostile environment? Well, it had a lot to do with trade and diplomacy, which brings us to
Dun, 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 dun.
acting as sort of
Yo, I actually really like this episode. Limberwisk is really goddamn cool, man.
hub. Limberwisk has always been favored by many across the world when it came to expeditions into the far north. For one, like Iceland, Limberwisk was very reluctant and decided to opt out of joining the EU, mostly due to fishing laws and societal policy issues. They figured that they would be the only ones that could truly understand how to manage and maintain their own state without an outside entity regulating their actions. Nonetheless, the EU maintains close trade deals, and they are still part of the European Economic Area and Council of Europe, but not the Schengen zone. Of course, due to their ethnic ties, Limberwisk has always had close ties to Norway, which was the historical main source of their Nordic ancestors. Nonetheless, they were never fully incorporated into the greater Norwegian kingdom and were independent since the early 11th century. Back in the 50s and World War II, Limberwisk made interesting ties to Botswana and Tonga as they made cultural exchange programs that allowed citizens from the far reaches of the earth to study and work in Limberwisk. The program was so successful that the three nations created the BLT Alliance, which allows free trade and economic policies as well as extensive visa and citizenship laws that only apply to the three members. When it comes to the best friends, however, most hush might say the people of Greenland, or the Danish constituent country of Greenland. As their closest cousins and relatives, most hush visit and invest in Greenland as well as look up to them as the origin of their people.
I really love Greenland, man, because like there's barely any green on Greenland.
In fact, the name is a hush pronunciation derived from the Greenlandic word for Greenlandic, kalachit. In the end, Limberwisk is an Arctic powerhouse that doesn't even exist, like in any way, fashion, or form. If you are new to this channel and bought everything I just said, congratulations! You're my newest victim in this annual tradition I've been doing every year since this channel started. Happy April Fool's Day! Stay tuned, the Confederation of Patch Amberdash is coming up next.
What? Wait! No fucking way! It's not even a No way! Have I just been fooled? But it seems so real!
For Greenlandic, kalachit. In the end, Limberwisk is an Arctic powerhouse that doesn't even exist, like in any way, fashion, or form. If you are new to this channel and bought everything I just said, congratulations! You're my newest victim in this annual tradition I've been doing every year since this channel started. Happy April Fool's Day! Stay tuned, the Confederation of Patch Amberdash is coming up next.
What the fuck?